Hi guys, welcome to Palace to the Core. My name's Stephen Dawes. Thank you for joining me as always. So, there are now rumours flying about Jean-Philippe Mateta. Now, of course, these are rumours, but several sources are now talking about this. And basically, you may already know this, but Juventus wanted to take Jean-Philippe Mateta in this transfer window on a loan with a obligation to buy. And he apparently the loan was quite a good one. It was quite a good amount of money, but the actual total amount of money wasn't up to Crystal Palace's valuation of Mateta, so they turned it down. And it looks as though, according to what I've been reading, that Juventus are now looking at other targets instead of Mateta. Now, I think this has upset Mateta a little bit because he wanted to go. Some were saying he had already agreed personal terms. I don't know if that's true, but some people are saying this. And he has basically said, well, apparently he's basically said there's a lack of ambition at Crystal Palace and that he wants to move this window. He wants to go. Now, obviously he's under contract for another couple of years, so Crystal Palace don't have to sell him. They can keep hold of him. Obviously, they're going to want to try and get money for him before his contract expires, but they don't have to get rid of him in this window. So they're well within their rights to say, well, no, we want this amount of money, so we're not going to sell him unless we get this amount of money. However, the issue for me is going to be Jean-Philippe Mateta, because we've seen in the past where, you know, he's had issues around his contract and he's not played very well during those periods of time, and then when it's been sorted out, he's played better. Now, of course, he didn't play particularly well when he first came to Crystal Palace, and I think that Oliver Glasner coming along has perhaps tweaked the way he plays, and also given him a better service from other players, and that's what's helped him with his form since Oliver Glasner's been there, and he has been a good goal scorer for us during that time. He's the leading goal scorer at Crystal Palace so far this season, although that isn't saying much because he hasn't really played that well over the last few games. But he is still the highest scorer, and so getting rid of him without a replacement would be, I think, a little bit difficult. Obviously, we've got Uche, but I don't know whether he is necessarily the result or the answer to our needs. Perhaps we need somebody else as well. Perhaps to rotate or to put in his place, because I'm not entirely sure that Uche would be able to do and score enough goals. But anyway, that's just my personal opinion. But obviously now it means that Jean-Philippe Mateta is also not happy. So if they do decide to sell him this window, it's going to be another good big player leaving in the transfer window, and hopefully, I'm hoping, fingers crossed, we bring somebody in either before or straight after he leaves, because that otherwise we were going to be even lighter than we currently are, and that would certainly be a big issue for us, and also would upset Oliver Glasner even more. So it's looking a little bit down at the moment in terms of that. I think personally, you know, if Jean-Philippe Mateta doesn't want to play for Palace anymore, then I think they should let him go. But I don't think they should do it until they know they've got someone who can come in. Otherwise, we're going to be down a body, and it'd be even worse than it is at the moment. But if he wants to go, let him go. You know, I don't see any reason why not. I get the feeling he won't play as well if he's forced to stay. I do get the impression that he's that type of person. I don't think he would necessarily be trying his best if he wasn't allowed to play. Now, apparently, the contract talks, he wanted a huge amount of money for his salary, which the club weren't able to match, and I can understand that. And so, you know, that's just the way that it is. And now, if he wants to leave, I think that if they can get someone in, then he should be allowed to leave, because otherwise, I think it's just going to cause more upset in the dressing room, and perhaps even, well, almost certainly, I think it will affect his on-pitch performances even more than it already is already. But let me know what you think down in the comments section, of course. Do you think that we should just say to Mateta, you've got a contract with us until 2027, I think it is. You're going to be here till then, or just before. Or should they say, right, well, okay, if we can get someone to replace you, you can go this window. Let me know what you think in the comment section. I would love to hear your thoughts as always. Do subscribe to help push the channel forward to more Palace fans, and I'll see you next time.